Hi everyone, I have had a commission through my Ko-fi shop from Linda, and she has asked me if I can colour this page, which is from Johanna Basford's Magical Worlds. So happily I agreed to do this page. Now she has the Chromaflow pencils, I know, so I thought that I would use those so that she can colour along, and hopefully others of you can colour along as well if you wish. Now, I am not really completely sure how to do this picture. I have done it before, quite recently actually, but I wasn't very 100% pleased with how it came out. So I'm going to try something a bit different. I am coming in close. This looks quite dark. I hope my camera isn't too dark. So I'm going to start with the flowers. And I really wanted them, in my last one I did them really bright red, and I wasn't too keen, so I wanted a sort of light pink. Now Chromaflows were a little bit, the pinks were a little bit odd to be honest, but I'm going to use the blush pink, which actually I really like. I think it's supposed to be more of a pale skin tone, but I'm going to use this possibly together with some salmon. Not sure yet, it depends how it sort of looks. I'm just going to give it a sharpen and just make a start on this first flower here, and I'm just going to put more down here in the base, layer it up a little bit more so it's quite deep, and then try to do a little bit less towards the tip. What I will hope is that maybe it will look fine like that, but I may need to use another colour in the tip just to sort of bring it all together. I could potentially use a white. I was thinking about whether to use the salmon, but I'm not sure it's quite the colour I want. So I'm just trying to make that as smooth as I can with regards to the transition from pale to dark. It's quite tricky. But there we go. And I'm just going to do the same on each petal. So I hope everyone's well today. I wasn't necessarily going to record this today. Ooh, I've got a really wobbly lead and my pencil. We'll see if it works okay from this side. Otherwise, I'm going to have to give it you have to give it a sharpen. Yeah. I use my Tagau. That's quite a good one for these softer leads. But if it plays up, I might take it next door and do it on my electric sharpener. There we go. Now it's I was going to watch some tennis instead today. Well, I will watch some later, but I started watching a match and our guy was being very much outplayed, the Brit player. So I thought, I can make a video rather than watch this guy lose, and thought I would just make a start on this page. I'll probably just do this one video today. I've done one already first thing this morning, so that was okay, but wanted to sort of start this page really. I was quite excited, quite liking this actually. I think I need a bit more layering down here at the bottom. If it's easier for you, you could use a darker colour at the bottom rather than just keep layering this one. The hot pink might work, it's similar-ish, or you might want to, I don't know, you could try the Shiraz, but it's really dark. I think that'd be a bit mad going that dark. But it depends how light your touch is. If you've got really light touch, you could probably just add a little bit and it might work for you. But I think it's easier just to keep layering up this one. This is for me anyway. But yes, I went out and with my son, just the two of us home today, nice and chilled. Had my family over yesterday, which was really lovely, but it's nice to have a quiet day today. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had my parents, my sister is staying with my parents, so I invited her and them over for lunch, and it all went very well, I think. Yeah, so that was good. It was nice to see everybody, but yeah, nice to have a quieter day today where I can sit and watch tennis. Although luckily they ended up leaving. They had to leave fairly early because my dad had a band practice. He's in a jazz band, saxophone, so he had band practice in the evening, so I had to leave fairly early anyway, and so I didn't have to do an evening meal, so we did lunch. They left about 4ish, I think, in the end. And so I meant actually the tennis match that I really, really wanted to watch had just started, just as I was clearing up after they left. It just starting then, so I could watch it while I was clearing up. And my son was helping me, and we kept getting distracted. It was really nice, actually, because it's nice watching with somebody else. Normally no one watches with me, but he was just getting a bit distracted by it and watching, which is nice because I can talk to him about it. My other son just has no interest whatsoever. But anyway, it was fun. And today me and him went out to get some groceries because, you know, having entertained yesterday, we had sort of got odd bits left and we're like, what we're going to use, what we're going to put together for our meals and that sort of thing. So we were just planning. When he came down for breakfast, I went down for a coffee. This was quite late. And we planned what we were going to eat for the next couple of days so that we could shop and get in what we needed or wanted. And so he came with me. Now these line here and this line here slightly confused me. I'm assuming that this is a petal behind this one and this is a petal behind this one, and that's how I'm going to colour it. But you could in fact just white that out and make it one petal, really, like that one. But I'm going to just go with what Johanna's drawn, and I find colouring over whited out bits is quite difficult for me. I'm sure there must be a knack to it. People do brilliantly, but I don't know what that is. But anyway, so yeah, so we popped to the shop. We went along the canal path and back. It was quite quiet along there with regards to wildlife and people. We were just chattering. He'd been having a chat to my sister yesterday, so he's telling me a bit about what they were talking about, and yeah, so that was good. Yeah, they came over and we had a chat and a drink, and then I made lunch and I just did some new boiled potatoes, and I threw in the oven. I did some sort of vegan sausage rolls. Ooh, the book is moving, isn't it? I'm just sorry, I've got to wipe my nose, and I'm going to come back and do a little bit more on this before we move on. Sorry, I did some vegan sausage rolls and some roasted chickpeas and some chicken goujons. And then I just made salad things so people could make their own salad to go with it. Because different people like different things, you know. Like, for example, my parents like a cooked lunch. So I thought if I do but I wanted a cold lunch. So I did a sort of compromise half and half type lunch. And it was fairly warm anyway. It wasn't really, really hot, but, you know, it was nice not to have a really hot thing, I felt. And I also put out some pittas and some hummus, and I was looking at the pronunciation of the word hummus. Interestingly, we're going to move on to a different flower now. We'll move on to this one, and apparently there is an American way and an English way to pronounce it. The same as the word falafel, which I had a conversation in a different video about. People didn't know what I meant. Now, hummus in America, I think, is called hummus. Now, falafel is called falafel in America, but the English pronunciation is falafel, according to an online dictionary. I'm not some sort of expert, but I was looking it up. So hummus, and falafel. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I was listening because they had little, they played the pronunciation. You know, you can get it to sort of play it for you. So I was looking. Anyway, but no, I didn't make any of those. It was just the hummus to go with the salad, because I had salad dressing, but it wasn't suitable for vegans. So I thought if I buy some hummus, they all like it. And it sort of works as a dressing. I also did loads of avocado, so you could sort of squish it in. And that was, yeah, nice. So that was all good. So we did that. And then we went, my niece wanted to get some bubble tea. There's a place in town that does it. But unfortunately they were shut due to staff shortages, so that was a shame. We went and had a drink somewhere else, but it wasn't the same. And then we went to the sweet shop, as you do. My niece bought so many sweets, but she bought sweets for her brothers and sweets for herself. So wow, so many sweets. But and my mum bought a bar of chocolate for my son who was at work, which was very nice of her, because she was like, she bought my other son a milkshake in the cafe. So she said, what can I buy for your other boy? And I was like, oh, I'll get him a bar of chocolate, he'll love that, which he did. But I picked it, so I knew he would like it. It was a sort of Ritter Sport bar, they're called Ritter Sport, and it was a milk chocolate with cornflakes in. Delicious. But I looked up why they're called Ritter Sport, because I said surely Ritter isn't trying to convince us that chocolate is some sort of sporty healthy food. Do you know what I mean? But no, the name Sport comes from the fact that apparently the bars were designed to fit in the pocket of a sports jacket or sports coat, because they're smallish and square, so they fit in your inside pocket of your sports jacket. So there you go. Interesting fact of the day for you. Things that you never wanted to know and you immediately forget when you, even now you've forgotten it. Anyway, but it was rather nice. Didn't have much chance, as always, to chat to anybody because I was sort of cooking and serving food and stacking dishwashers and just getting drinks, and you know how it is. But it was still just lovely to have everyone over, and I could show my sister the plants that she bought me for my birthday in the garden, so she could see them. One of them's not doing very well, but all of the others are, so that was good. She was happy with that, and she said one of them had supposed to flower and it hasn't, so that'll be interesting. We'll see whether it does. I mean, it might have been bought post flowering, so it might not flower till the spring if it survives the winter. She reckoned they were quite hardy, but we'll find out. They were sort of, 4 of them were alpines. I don't know if alpines are hardy. I assume they are. I assume they were up on the sort of mountainous regions and therefore they can survive, but who knows? I don't know anything about plants, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over the winter. It'd be nice if they survive because they were very pretty actually. We've all been enjoying them flowering. 2 with yellow flowers, 1 with purple. Yeah. And so anyway, that was nice. It was a bit hot. We didn't sit in the garden, it was too hot. It was much nicer in the kitchen. It was nice and cool out of the sun. And I'd sort of kept everything fairly closed up to keep it coolish. But it wasn't silly hot yesterday. In fact, my son came home from work. Although he'd taken his hoodie off, he wasn't desperate for a drink. He was perfectly fine to wait until, like, I'm just finding a white. I can't find where my, oh, here it is. Here's my white. And what I'm going to do is do some bits on the ends of these petals just to make them a little bit lighter. Might be a bit too fussy, you don't have to. Yeah, he came home from work yesterday and he seemed very relaxed. He wasn't thirsty. He just came home and, yeah, he'd taken his hoodie off, but it wasn't silly hot. He said he'd forgotten to wear his hat, but it was okay. He tries to walk down a shady route home because when he leaves at 5, it's sort of the hottest time of the day. But anyway, it's funny, I probably said this before, but when I was a child, we were always told that midday was the time you should stay out of the sun and it's the worst time. But it's not the hottest time of the day. The hottest time is between 3 and 5. It's very strange. But I guess the sun is, it's right, there's no shade because the sun is right so high in the sky. I'm just sort of putting a little bit of white on the ends here. This white isn't bad. I haven't really played with it very much. I don't tend to use a lot of white. Now in my description of this page, I called these buildings castles. I actually feel they look more like palaces, but I don't think it matters very much what they're called. Now I need to find a green to go with this colour that I can use for their stems and their little bits of leaves and things. So I'm just having a little look on my swatch chart, and I feel that I think the grass green is going to be the colour of choice. Where are you here? Now it's quite a mid green. It's not olive, it's not blue, it's not grey, it's not brown, it's just green, and I think it will work nicely. So just give it a sharpen. So on these pieces, are you in? Yeah, just making sure I've got the book under the right bit. I mean the camera on the right bit. So I'm trying to just fade it a bit to the tip. On this bit, maybe towards the middle a bit. Yeah, I'm much happier with this colour than on my first attempt at the page, so that's rather good now. I'm going to just do the bottom of this stem so that I don't forget. And then I'll probably move from one side to the other again so that I don't forget any of them. There we go, so I've got this one over here. Again, I'm going to try and fade these a little bit to the tip. If it's easy, you could put a little bit of a darker colour at the base. What could you use? You could probably use the jungle green actually. We'll use it gently because it's quite a bit darker. There we go. But my sister has gone to the seaside today. I was thinking of going with them. It would have been really complicated to get there because two of them are having to go on the train anyway because there isn't room in the car, but two of them are going on somewhere else by train after, so it's a bit complicated. And then I can't get a train there from here, so I'd have to get one and then change. And it was just, and then I was thinking hot sun on the beach, no shade, not how keen I was on that, and I wouldn't be home very early to sort of sort out evening meal and things like that, so I just decided not to go. But hopefully they're having a good time, and it's so sunny. I know it'll be cooler there because the sea breeze is obviously on the coast. It's always cooler, which is rather pleasant. But yeah, I think it'd be a bit much, really. But I did persuade my mum to buy a hat yesterday. There's a shop in town that sells all sorts of hats, and they had these straw hats with little ribbons round. And it was interesting because the ribbon matched what she was wearing really well. But I think it would just work with anything really, you know. And I thought, because she doesn't really wear a hat, and I think like some people don't understand why a hat is so good. It's not just about because she said hats make her head itch, and I said, well, wear one that's straw, which is what she found, and then the breeze blows through it. It doesn't make your head itch quite so badly. Now I'm just looking at all the greenery. We've got all these plants here, and then we've got some at the top, and we've got these little creepers on the side here. Now I was considering whether to do those the same green as the colour we've used in here, just the creepers, so that there's a sort of consistency of colour. But then I'm wondering whether they might be a little better, a little bit darker, because they're like a frame. But I think I'm going to do them this grass green colour. So let's continue and do these vines. So for the leaves, I'm just going to try and fade them to the tip a little bit. And then the vines will just put down a fairly hard layer of colour. get so hungry in the hot weather. It's really weird. A lot of people say they have no appetite when it's hot. I do. I get so hungry. It's odd. Like we were shopping this morning. I bought some olives, which I had as a snack. I was hungry. I've been snacking away. When it was really hot, I snacked loads. Can you see all that? Not quite. Yeah, there we go. I think it's because it takes so much energy to stay cool. I've always struggled with energy levels in hot weather though. But a lot of people say it energises them, but for me, never. It's always the opposite. It's quite odd. But there we go. It's I just had to eat a bit more. There we go. I'm already looking forward to lunch. Oh, it's 5 to 12. It's not silly amounts of time away from lunch. How long have we been going on this one? Yeah, we'll finish just in the right time. Be good. Thinking about how long I was planning on spending per video. So I'm doing this in quite a simple way. We'll do some more interesting work on some of these leaves. I've got a few ideas of ways to do these sort of fan-like ones. They're really pretty. But for these, because they're a bit smaller, I think we're doing them plain. It's fine. Okay, let's do the ones. It's a symmetrical design on the framework, not inside, but I'm just going to hold the page down a bit. It's going to keep wibbling because it's my new copy of the book, so it's not very flat. There we go. I'm just going to resharpen because this vine, although I'm not that good at staying in lines, it was interesting because we were talking yesterday about staying in the lines, and I said, I'm not very good at it. And one of my parents said, what, with all the colouring you do? I was like, yeah. So I can't always see the lines very well when my eyes get tired anyway. It's quite funny. My aim is to never be perfectly within the lines. I don't think that's necessarily something to worry about, you know. There we go. I have more fun with thinking about, I should just do this loop and then we'll go back up and do the leaves so that I can move the book a little bit. I'm more interested in thinking about colour combinations, things like that. I'm sort of thinking about what do I do with these buildings, because what's going to go, we need something that's going to match the colour of the flowers, I think. Ish. It doesn't need to be like perfectly matching. You know, I wouldn't want to do it in another shade of a similar pink or anything like that, but we need something that's going to work together. So I'm thinking about that now. I'm thinking purple isn't going to work very well because this it's just the wrong shade of pink, because this pink's got orange in it, but orange isn't going to work as a colour for the castle. But oh, I've got an itch. Blue would work, I think, but maybe what else would work? Now the last one I did gold roofs. I don't think gold would even work very well. So I'm thinking maybe silver would work, but maybe not. It's interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting decision to have to make. There we go. Now we actually have silver, gold, silver mint and ice blue pencils that are actually metallic, and they're actually rather good, the Chromaflow metallics. So we've got that option available to us as well, which I'm actually really liking the idea of. Maybe silver mint ice blue, not the gold, because it's very different. I'll show you. You can see on my swatch chart. So you've got the 3 silvers, you can see them shining, but the gold is so different. But I'm thinking maybe the 3 silvers might be quite nice for the 3 roofs. Maybe we'll do that now. Yeah. So let's grab them. Oops. Let's I don't need to show you them all, we'll do one at a time. Let's start with the silver. Here it is, silver. I'm going to do the sort of top part of the roof. Or should I start at the bottom? I'm just thinking about the layers. I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do this circle here. I'm going to try use less layers towards the middle. The same with this one. Okay. And on this roof, can you see? Yeah. I'm going to do this piece in this colour. And again, I'm going to sort of fade it a little bit towards the middle. Like that. And then I think I'm going to do all of, I'm going to fill in that. Change my mind. Why not? Used to be that saying, didn't it? It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. Why are only women allowed to change their mind? Or why is that? I think it's probably quite a sexist thing to say, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway. This is silver mint. I'm going to sharpen it. And this is a slightly greeny silver. Excuse me. I'm going to do this bit here. Oops. Apparently out of the line. I find that these metallics are very, very soft and smushy compared with the other colours, which is quite interesting. I assume they must have a different sort of pigment in them to make them shiny. Like that. Now this one. I think I'm going to do these teardrops. I'm just going to block them in though. There we go. And now we're going to move on to the ice blue, which is again very silvery. I should just sharpen it up a bit. And on here we're going to do, actually I'm just going to get my brush. There we go. So we're going to do this section. Again, I'm going to try and make it a little bit lighter in the middle. You can really see the difference between these two colours. I think the silver and the silver mint are quite similar, but the ice blue is quite different. There we go. We'll just gently bring that in towards the centre with less colour. There we are. And this one will start dark on the outside. Make it lighter in the middle. My phone's gone off. Just have it on in case my son needs me. He's been fine at work this week though. His boss has been off, which I think has helped a little bit. I think he's felt a bit less pressure to look busy all the time. It's quite hard, isn't it, when you first start? But I think he's also getting used to it, you know. He did have a bit of a off to work type thing this morning. But I mean, work is never going to be, well, that's not completely true. For most people, work is never going to be as fun as being at home. As I say, it's not true for everyone. There we go. Now we're going to go back to the silver. I'm going to do this large slice at the bottom of this one. Sort of fade it towards the middle. It's not very neat. I'm going to go in the other direction in a minute. So I'm going to put my hand that way and go across. we go. But yeah, I'm hopeful that things are a bit better and he's making progress. He said he'd finished a page he was supposed to be coding. It's a web page, you know, and had moved on to looking at the next one yesterday. So he got something done, but he found it a bit easier being cooler yesterday. The day before he struggled to do much because it was so hot, and he just felt tired because he hadn't slept because it was so hot as well. But I think I said to him, I'm sure it's the same for everyone in your office because it was just such a hot night that it was just ugh. Right, I'm going to finish there. I thought half an hour would be quite good. I can't decide what colour to do these buildings, but I want them to show up quite pretty, so I have to have a think. The silvery roofs make them look quite dull and dark, but I don't think that's going to be a problem as long as we make a nice pretty colour on the buildings themselves. So I will sort that out and make sure they still pop out, because I think the central part, you know, they're the sort of main subject. The rest is more like a frame, so we need to make them look good, and I can do that. I hope. I sound really big-headed. No, it's not that I am. I'm just confident, I think. Anyway, thank you for watching today. I hope that you have a really lovely day and pop back tomorrow for the next instalment. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and happy colouring.